So my name is Tom Rönnlund. I am the CEO since the 1st of January in Probi AB, situated in Lund, where we have our global headquarters. Safe harbor statement, please read. And here with me today, I also have my CFO, Mr. Henrik Lundqvist, who's sitting here up in the front. We both joined early this year, so we're now 4 or 5 months into our respective roles in our company. I will talk about Probi. I don't know how much you know about our company since before. We are active in the field of probiotics. Probiotics, the definition of them is live microorganisms, bacteria, which delivered in an adequate dose to the target, normally a consumer, will have a beneficial health effect. We in Probi, we're very proud of being active in this field. Probi stems from research conducted at Lund University some 30 years back in time, and which today have grown into a medium-sized company with global presence. If I spend a little bit of time explaining the probiotic market, you have most likely heard about probiotics. It's very common in various types of foods, yogurts, fruit drinks, for example, where a big brand here in Sweden is Proviva, in which our bacteria are present for exerting positive effects on the gut health there. But food is actually if you look here to the left, you can see the total global market within probiotics is estimated at around $41 billion on an annual basis. And where the food segment in the consumer, on a consumer level, on consumer prices, actually is the single largest part of where consumer healthcare business, which is our largest business area, is only 10% of that total market value. But if you move down to the ingredient market, where we are specifically active, we are not brand owners, we do not sell products under our own name, apart from a few exceptions here in Sweden. The ingredient market, it's bigger for the consumer healthcare area, which means supplements and the various types of products which are delivered as pills or capsules or powders, etc. And where the ingredient market for the food segment is significantly smaller. So Probi's main arena, where we are competing, is within the professional segment of ingredients in the consumer healthcare area. This area, this is a graph depicting the growth in this market on a global level for the past sort of 5-6 years. And as you can see, it has a very positive momentum on a global level, with in the past 3 years, roughly a growth of 10% on an annual basis on a global level. This is specifically for the supplement area for probiotics. Also, which is very encouraging to our company, as well as other companies in our industry, this growth is expected to continue moving into the future as well. An aging population, a focus on personal health and well-being, and people investing money and resources into making sure that they take care of their own health are important market drivers helping this market growth. Also, new areas of use for probiotics. The single largest segment in terms of use of probiotics today is for gut health, as well as the immune area. But there are very interesting areas which we are investigating, as well as others, who are coming to the market as we speak. Probi, we're very proud, for example, of being the first company to actually bring a product to the market for aiding, reducing bone loss in postmenopausal women, supported by a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled study, which was published last year. And already this year, we have products in the market and working with customers of introducing this new area of use for probiotics. Very encouraging data with the opportunity to prevent bone loss, as well as reducing the risk of osteopenia and osteoporosis. Also, significant growth in the e-commerce channel. These products lend themselves very well for being sold over over e-commerce channels. They're quite small, they're quite light, they're easy to transport. The customer, the consumer can find out a lot of things with regards to the actual health benefits of the product by researching online and then ordering their product as well. The global market is probably only around 15–20% in terms of the overall market in the e-commerce channels today, but we expect and see that already, that the growth there is quite significant. There's also new players coming into the market, pharma companies, other food and ingredient companies as well. So all these factors are helping us to grow the probiotic market moving into the future. Probi, as a company, we are a fully integrated supplier and business-to-business company focusing solely on probiotics. We have the ability all the way from the vial to a finished product. We have our own R&D department, our own R&D team based out of Lund, but also collaborating with universities and scientific collaboration partners all across the world. And we also have a commercial arm where we both are working closely with our customers in ensuring that they find the right solution for their brand and for their consumers. And in between there, we also have our own manufacturing capabilities. Since a couple of years back, Probi acquired an American company with manufacturing sites. So we have one site where we're actually doing fermentation, which means growing the bacteria, as well as another site where we are able to provide our customers with finished goods, which means that we can do encapsulation, tabletation, and deliver products to our customers in a finished format, already boxed and ready to ship to the customers. We had sales of roughly 600 million kronor last year with an EBITDA of 101 million. We're roughly 170 employees, and we are active all over the globe. If you look back a little bit in history, we've grown quite aggressively, admittedly quite aided by the acquisition in the US market, but our core business based out of Sweden has also grown in this time period as well. So Probi is now a globally well-established probiotic company with solution that fits many different phases of life for the consumers and regarded as a very serious and successful business-to-business actor in this field. We had, though, important to note, we've had an impressive growth through the years. 2018, 2017, and 2018, we had a major US customer who had some supply chain issues, which caused problems with us. They overstocked for a period of time, and then due to that fact, they discontinued their purchases for a while with us, which affected our growth, as you can see here. What is good news is that these ordering patterns have normalized, and we are now back to a normal, sort of a more normal buying pattern from this specific customer. As I mentioned, we're active across 4 sites. We have 2 manufacturing facilities in the US, as well as a commercial team deployed across the market there. We have our headquarters based in Lund, down in the south of Sweden, and we also have a sales office in Singapore, which is covering the important Asian market for us. Our business model, I think I mentioned this a bit before. We have our own R&D resources with a well-respected team who have won awards and published a truckload of data on our probiotics, an extremely important aspect of working in this market from the perspective that the consumers as well as our customers need to trust that our probiotics makes a difference and actually delivers the intended health benefits when ingested. This is not the case for all actors in this industry, but Probi, being founded out of science, we have constantly continued to invest in this area, and we're one of the companies with the most published studies, which are placebo-controlled and randomized. At the same time, making sure that we are having a wide network of collaboration partners from a scientific point of view, ensuring that we keep the highest possible standards in this field to have a trustworthy solution for our customers. We have our own manufacturing facilities, as I mentioned. Very important element for a company to be flexible in resolving customers' various types of needs, where we can work together very closely with our customers. If they want a specific formulation, if they want a specific delivery format, if they want to add other ingredients to the process, we are very flexible in allowing that to happen in our factories, and we can quickly turn around commercial solutions for our customers. We hold a very strong business-to-business marketing competence built up for many years, and we also support our customers with solutions. We have worked with hundreds of customers across the world, introducing probiotic concepts into the market, where we actually hold a lot of experience that we can transfer to our customers as well, in making sure that we help them become as successful as possible when they put their products out into the market. We have a wide portfolio of offerings. Our absolute flagship is within in the gastro area with Probi Digestis. This is our single biggest product area today in which we're working, and this is very much alike the entire industry as well, from the perspective that the gastro and immune health areas are the two largest individual segments for probiotic use. With our products in this field, based on our bacteria researched out of Lund, we have a very strong position and very strong ability to make solid claims about what health effects our products actually have for the consumer. On top of this, we have added areas like iron absorption, for example. We have recently, where we can see that ingestion of certain types of our bacteria will actually aid iron absorption for consumers who have low levels of iron, for example, pregnant women. We have recently, early this year, completed a clinical trial with 326 pregnant ladies in Sweden. Very interesting study, one of the larger in the fields, and where we right now are analyzing the data in terms of see how this translates into actual effects for these consumers. So it will be exciting to potentially launch new products in that field. We've also completed interesting studies early this year as well in the areas of acute stress, of probiotics' ability to actually influence acute stress in study subjects. And another study as well, which we also have completed, and currently we're analyzing the data for physical performance in athletes, in terms of seeing if probiotics can have a beneficial effect on physical performance, as well as potential inflammation markers in athletes. As I mentioned before, bone health. Last year we published data on postmenopausal women and the effect of Probi's combination of 3 bacterial strains there, with very encouraging results, with significant results versus placebo in terms of reducing the bone loss in this patient group or in these ladies, and where these data are very interesting to our customers who are looking for innovation and the ability to launch new product concepts, especially within women's health, which is one of the largest growing areas for probiotics. Also in last year, so we already have a product in the market there. The first commercial launch occurred back in November, December last year, and we have followed that up with new commercial launches throughout the spring, and we have a number of customers who are evaluating the product concept as well for moving into the future. So we're working very intensely with that. Gluten intolerance, another exciting area where Probi last year published very encouraging or very interesting results in a study made on small children below 3 years of age, and where we could see statistically significant effects of reducing the incidence of gluten intolerance in children who are predisposed to this. Very exciting data. We're following that up in terms of confirming that with additional studies, and we're looking forward to look into that area as we move forward. With all these offerings that we have, we can address a wide range of areas with the consumers, and this makes us a very attractive partner for the companies that we are working with. Yes, they're available in a number of different formats. And I'll spend a few minutes in terms of commenting also on our first quarter financial results. So in first quarter of 2019, we achieved sales of roughly 140 million kronas, which was significantly up versus last year. A currency-adjusted growth of organic growth of roughly 10%. That's very good. That's faster than the market, actually, if we look at it for the first quarter. At the same time, we're not comparing ourselves to the most aggressive quarter in our history back in time. But what is good is that Probi is past the point of actually having to battle with one of our largest customers not performing as we should be able to expect. Also, an improvement of our profitability, EBITDA in the quarter as well, moving up from 17 million to 28 million, representing an EBITDA margin of roughly 20%. If you look at regional dynamics, please apologize here, the scales are not the same. You can see that the US market actually accounts for roughly 75% or 73% of our total sales, with the EMEA region and APAC for 27% on top of that. We have had an impressive growth in both EMEA and APAC, of course, admittedly smaller areas, but as a company, we feel very confident that we have growth opportunities in these areas as well. The Americas, or the US, is the world's largest probiotic market. And you can see the dip that we had there caused by this major customer and their ordering patterns. We have over time had an interesting growth, of course, aided by the acquisition of the US-based company. But we also see that with our scientifically documented products have an opportunity to win even bigger in the US based on our presence there in the market. We have manufacturing facilities, we've got a commercial team deployed, and so on and so forth. So we're very optimistic about the future there as well as in the APAC region. APAC is today's the world's second largest probiotic market. In a few years' time, it is estimated based on increased life expectancy as well as an overall rise in economic abilities for the consumers, that this market will actually become perhaps the world's largest probiotic market as a total. Probi have just begun its journey in this region. We have deployed resources, we have a sales office, and we're investing heavily in making a bigger splash in that area. I think we commented on that. As a company, we're very healthy. We have a strong balance sheet. We have a strong positive cash flow. We also have a very low net debt and also a very strong owner in our back. The German company Symrise Group is actually a major shareholder in our company, and they, as well as us, are very interested in seeing Probi expand its position in the probiotic market and moving into the future as one of the world's most renowned and respected and strongest probiotic companies in the area. So, to summarize, one of the probiotics as a category is one of the fastest growing in the supplement field, expected to continue so moving into the future as well. Probi as a company, we have stronger than ever commercial presence both in Asia as well as in the US, which gives us the building blocks to be able to drive our performance moving forward. We have a very strong existing portfolio as well as interesting research with the ability to drive future growth for our company as well. We are increasing our investments this year and the years moving forward in terms of making sure that we stay true to our brand payoff, which is first in probiotics. It's not just a play with letters, that Probi is the first 5 letters of the word probiotic, but it's also the way we want to act in the market. In our factories in the US, we have launched a program to increase output as well as increase efficiency out of those facilities in order to be able to capture the growing opportunities that are existing in the market. We're also very active in evaluating strategic partnerships and potentially acquisitions in an effort to actually fuel our growth and our forward-looking plans. And I mentioned also there with regards to the normalization of the ordering pattern. It's very important for the company because it solidifies our base business and gives the organization an opportunity to focus on future growth as well. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Thank you, Tom. So I think you mentioned a bit about your core customer base that you have today, but you also mentioned you want to broaden the customer base forward. Can you give us some example of your current customer mix and maybe tell a bit clear what is the strategy forward?
I think from a customer base perspective, the two organizations that merged a couple of years back were the Swedish-based organization out of the HQ. They were focused very much on customers with premium offerings in the market, where we were supplying our well-researched materials or our well-researched products into product solutions for various types of customers across the world. The US-based business that we acquired had a slightly different focus with regards to their product mix and product portfolio. They were a faster turnaround type of customers were coming in and flowing out in a rather quick pace there and offering slightly different solutions. We have now the ability to bring these two together and also making sure that we have a full set of potential products to supply to our customers' needs from that perspective. If you look at what new customers we would like to acquire, we want to hold true to the both set of customers that we're working with because we see growth opportunities in both areas. New customers would rather be on a geographical basis. The Asian region, for example, which represents a lot of good growth opportunities for us. From a strategic point of view, as you mentioned, we remain true to our scientific foundation, continuing to deliver innovation for driving new product concepts into the market. And the other areas is about making sure that our production facilities are sort of as efficient as they possibly could be. It will help our profitability as well. And then it's geographic expansion.
Thank you. And you mentioned APAC could be one of the biggest
potential opportunities.
Yes. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Why is that the case?
The share market is big. The share market, as such, is very, very large. As I mentioned, it's the world's second biggest market and growing at more than a double-digit pace for sure. So there are several opportunities there. Probi has not been present there at all. We know quite well the competition. You have both international companies as well as local players there as well. What we see will play in our benefit there is the increased requirements from the authorities in terms of actually making sure that you provide documented products, which makes a difference for the consumer. And the other element is the sheer growth of the market. We see a great opportunity in that.
You mentioned that gastro is your, you could say, main
biggest
area.
Yeah.
What do you think will be the second biggest a few years from now?
That's a really good question. Difficult to tell. I would potentially something that many companies are banking on, and where we also having research initiatives, which I didn't mention here, is the entire field of metabolic health. There are very promising indicative data that probiotics makes a difference within the field of metabolic health. So insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, etc. A lot of research is being performed in this area. There is a lot of interesting indicative data, and the potential in this field, including weight management as well, is really big as long as we can solidify that research space. So I hope that we would be able to grow that in the future into the second spot.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you very much.